Alright guys, welcome back to Our World Outdoors. So first off, I just want to say I apologize about the background noise. That's my grid ties going. Solar is just pumping today. So let's get on with it. Hopefully the audio won't be that bad. So, got a package in the mail today. If it's what I think it is, it took 17 days to get here, but it's worth it for what I paid for it. So let's get it open. Now, if you've read the title, the reason you're probably watching this is because this should be my new Lanshan 2 tent. So first package gone. It's in a nice stuff sack with some straps. Open that up. There's our tent. So now, that's our tent, everything. Stakes should be in there somewhere. I don't feel them, but it should be. So let's see what it weighs. We got our trusty little food scale here. Just turn it on. Tear it. Okay, we're all zeroed out. Let's get that strap on there. 2.768. So basically 2.7, because I know there's going to be some packaging inside. That's not bad. So this is a trekking pole tent. In all reality, I say it's a duplex clone. So, you know, the only difference is this is dual wall tent rather than one. This is going to definitely lighten our load up a lot and let me and my wife have a more comfortable time when we're out hiking. So, let's get it open here. Now you can lighten this down more by switching to lighter stakes. It's actually a pretty nice little roll top nylon stuff sack. Very lightweight, that's for sure. All right. So there's our tent. It's got a little tie around it. Just like that. Roll it open. There's our stuff sack. And then I know it's hard to see. We got our aluminum stakes, which these are different from the old ones. The old ones used to be the big 4 grooves. These are more like the shepherd hook aluminums. Because this is actually the newer version, the Flames Screed. It's still a 3F UL tent. It's still the Lanshan. We got some repair material. And we got our tie outs. Let's close that back up. We can get rid of that stuff sack. Find something a little better to use or lighter. Shave some more weight. But the tent itself seems to all be in really good shape. It's so light, it's crazy. And then you can see this is the Flames Screed version. So let's get it outside. Let's get it set up and be able to take a good in-depth look at it. Okay guys, so this is the 2019 version Flames Screed. It's the Lanshan 2. It's still a 3FUL tent. But there's a lot of differences. An example would be how they changed to aluminum shepherd hooks rather than the old 4-cross aluminum stakes. I almost think the old aluminum stakes are better. But I'll upgrade the stakes to something that stays in the ground a little better in the future. Right now they work. It's just this tent being made out of the nylon material it needs to be anchored down good. And the set's kind of I'm on kind of a hill here, down on our lot here. And the fact of the matter is, that's my first time setting it up, and there's a lot of adjustments that this thing does not need. So you can bet I'm going to be changing some things around to make it more quick and easy setup. Too many little adjustments here. We need to get this thing set up so you don't have to adjust as much. First thing I'll tell anyone that's interested in this tent, it's $100 off AliExpress. It takes about 15 to 17 days realistically if it's not like around Christmas or something, or a high traffic point in time. It takes about 15 to 17 days to get to you, most times. You'll pay about $100 out the door for it. A lot better than $500 for a duplex, but let's be real. Duplex is made of some good material. It's got bigger zippers. This has very small zippers. You have to be somewhat careful with it. But the benefit I like is rather than rather than depending on the condensation to roll off and go out the small vent on the duplex, this one has dual wall, so it can run down outside the netting. So let me go get it open and climb in. Now mind you, I am 250 pounds right now, about 6'1". And I'm not expecting this tent to be huge, but big enough to where me and my woman can snuggle up without touching the sides. This does have buckles to tie everything back. Now the first thing you'll notice is this floor is extremely thin. That's how they keep it so light. Ground sheet's probably a good idea. So I can lay down comfortably and not have my feet or head touch. If I was any taller, I'd probably need to lay on an angle or be a side sleeper and slightly bend my knees. You know, I got a buddy, Jeremiah, he's well over 6 foot. He could fit in this, but he'd either have to bend his knees or lay on an angle inside of it to be really comfortable. But the side pullouts do a good job of keeping the tent pulled back. There's definitely room for me and my wife side by side without touching the sides. Not that touching these sides will really matter, because the condensation will run down the interior of that tent out on the ground rather than coming in. The other big thing we were looking for in this tent was to be able to sit up in case it's raining and we're stuck in the tent. Our other tent, the Stand Sport Scout tent, was good, but you couldn't sit up in it. At least I couldn't. My wife might be able to because she's hobbit-sized. But anyways, you got a pocket at each end. You can put your cell phone or whatever in. That's a nice addition. The corners are all reinforced, so that's a nice addition. Like I said, there's buckles to tie everything back. You can take this outer rain fly off and just have the netting. The netting is thin, but it looks somewhat durable. I don't really worry about it because it's pretty easy to patch this netting if you know how. They actually sell kits for it now. It's really easy. This is actually pretty good size wide. When I started setting it up, I was a little concerned. It didn't look very wide. But when I'm actually looking at it now, I feel that there's plenty of room for me and my wife. If it was somebody that you better really like the person you're sleeping next to if you're sleeping two-person in this tent. Now, back there, you should be able to see the vestibule on this thing. It sits up high. You can pull it down lower and close it down some if you wanted to reduce the amount of air that comes through. But really, for 3-season use, you want that up. You want the air coming through at least a little bit to carry off the moisture and the condensation. But that is definitely a pretty big vestibule. And if you're in the pouring down rain, we can throw our packs in one side and use the other side to like cook out of or whatever. Having a dual door and a dual vestibule means we can have our gear without having it inside here with us, but our gear's not really going to get wet. There's a lot of benefits to this tent. There is tabs up at the top if you wanted to hang a line to hang your clothes up to dry. That's kind of the reason I went with the darker color. I didn't want to go with their black version or any of their real dark colors, but I didn't want the white or the yellow either. The green is just dark enough that if we're at camp, still early, we can close this thing completely up, hang the clothes in here, and it'll heat up because of the green. It'll heat up in here just a little bit and help with the drying effect. But we'll also be able to hang our headlamps from up above to light down if we're stuck in here and it's starting to rain or an evening and we're wanting to play cards or something. So I definitely think it's plenty big enough. Let's get out and take a look on the outside. There's some things you guys should know if you're thinking about getting this tent. All right, this is the tie out point on the sides. You see how it's sewn through? You have to seal around this. My suggestion is take some seam sealer and seal all this, and then one day when there's no wind, spray this whole area right here with a spray silicone just for extra added potential protection. You could probably do the whole tent if you wanted to, but I don't really see much reasoning in it. There's sew through points too. You'll be able to tell because there's circles to reinforce them. You'll want to spray that or put a little seam sealer on that too. Seam sealer kit is usually about $4, $5 depending upon where you get it. Small price to pay for the money savings of this tent. Alright, this is the corner where it anchors out. Do you see how this has the red, like the orange string sewn through it right here? That's how you know which side of this goes on the red stake. Because then you can take this, let me back out a little bit here, and you can pull and tighten it up. If you do it the other way, it won't tighten up. Just wanted to point that out. Another thing to point out. Right here, there's a piece of shock cord tied to this. I would seam seal that as well because that's part of your bathtub floor. Obviously, this stuff's going to be easy to find because it's got these circles on the inside. You'll be able to see exactly where they all are. But they're sewn through there. You need to seam seal one on each side and the corners on the inside. But there's a piece of shock cord here, and this actually goes underneath this foot on your trekking poles. And that keeps this pulled out so it doesn't shift on you at night. It's just little things like this that can get confusing when you're setting this up, but it's not a big deal. Alright guys, let's take a minute to really talk about this tent and why I chose it. I can't tell you how many debates I've been in with people about this tent before it even arrived. Everybody told me I was stupid, go buy a duplex, go buy a big Agnes, go buy this, go buy that. Guys, I destroy everything I touch. I mean, it's just a simple fact. If I don't destroy it, my wife destroys it. We are hard on things. If you don't believe me, look at the front end of my truck in videos. I bought it with a smashed front end. My wife hit another deer with it, and they're like, Why would you fix this? Just keep driving it. That's what every shop tells me. I mean, it's things like that, like tripods. I bet you I broke, since we started YouTube like 7 or 8 months ago, I bet you I broke 12 tripods. We're just hard on things. You know, we go, and we just destroy things along the way. It happens. You know what I mean? In my mind, I can't validate having a $500 tent that's made out of the same material, basically, as, like, Frozen's rain skirt's a perfect example. Because he used it as a pad on the ground under his hammock and set his shoes on it, and, you know, he got ground all around, he got ground against stuff in his pack. He wasn't careful with it, you know what I mean? And when you mess with those threads and that Dyneema, that laminate comes off, it's not truly waterproof anymore. And I'm going to say a big deciding factor was also what I watched Artemis on the Trail go through in the video. I think it's a great product if you treat it with the care and the love that it deserves. With a $500 price tag, you should be, well, $500 before you buy your stakes and everything else. You should be being extremely careful with that thing. That thing should be gold to you. You should go to every length to protect it and keep it safe. For me, I don't care if I try to be careful with stuff, I destroy stuff. It just happens. It's just a normal part of wear and tear. Think about my hiking throughout the year being like any normal through hiker. That's how often we're out or how hard we are on things, and it's just constant. Run, run, run. The thought of paying $100 for this tent, when it's specs, I mean, yeah, it's not the same material. Maybe it's not as durable, but it's 1/5 the price with stakes and everything you need to go. 1/5. Listen to what I'm saying, 1/5. I know the saying, buy once, cry once, but that's not reality. All right, I can go into REI and people say, buy one pack and cry once. Yeah, I'll have that pack destroyed in 2 years, I promise you. If not sooner. So, buy once, cry once doesn't apply to me really. Now, we start talking shoes. Yeah, I'm on board. Go buy a name brand pair of shoes. Don't buy crap. Don't buy knockoff. Don't buy no. Go ahead and get you some Merrells. Get you some Keens. I know some people like Solomons. I can't wear them. They're too thin for my feet. But my point is, there is some things that I'm wholeheartedly on board about buying a name. I am. But I'm finding more and more that companies like, this is sold under the Flames Screed, but it's a 3FUL tent, and it's the lanshan too is what it is. Companies like this are basically just making clones. Maybe they're not making them out of the same material. Maybe they are. Maybe they're just not making quite up to the same quality specs. But when you're talking about 1/5 of the price, it's time to start scratching your head and going, is it really worth it to buy the more expensive stuff? In some cases, it may be. If you're a kind of person that really takes good care of their gear, go get that tent. You don't need this tent. Go spend the money and get that tent. But for us, even if I have to replace this tent every year or two, let's say every 2 years I've got to replace this tent. That's 10 years of buying tents for what it would cost to buy one duplex. That's not counting shipping. That's not counting stakes and anything else that it doesn't come with. So, I mean, it's not that hard to figure out. Or maybe you're just trying to get into backpacking and you blew your budget on your backpack and your cook kit and everything else. This is a nice alternative. $100, seriously, $100. If nothing else, this makes a wonderful spare. Wonderful. I do think that the duplex is a better product. I think it's made out of higher quality. I think that there is different conditions that make this tent better and that tent better. I think in the winter, honestly, I think that this tent would be better for rolling off condensation, whereas I think in a rainstorm, when pitched correctly and tight, because the duplex will stay tighter better than this tent will, because this tent stretches, the material stretches a lot. So I think that in a good heavy rainstorm, you're probably better off to be in a duplex, honestly. And the duplex bathtub's a little better than this. I'm sitting here and I can feel the cold coming from the grass up into my butt. So we've got foam sleeping pads, so it doesn't really matter. With two of them in here, you'll even get some overlap, so that's not a problem for us. But you see what I mean? There's different conditions where each has its benefit and downfall. But in our mind, we're trying to do everything, and if you've watched our videos, we'd rather spend our money on going on trips. If I'm constantly in pursuit of the best gear, which is good, then I'm constantly have to work to get the money to buy the good gear, or wait and save the money when I should be out on trips now. I don't know if that makes sense to some of you. I think this is just a good, cheap alternative. I'm not knocking duplex. It's a wonderful product. I'm not knocking the Big Agnes tents. They're a wonderful product. But 2.7 pounds, $100. Now, if you really don't want to wait, you can get on eBay or Amazon and find them for about $150 or $170 with US resellers. Now, I have to admit to my folly, because I'm an idiot. Ordered this tent, and we were about, 8 days in, and it said on the tracking, because the tracking's not real great on these things. I mean, it tells you kind of where it is, but it's not going to tell you when it's arriving and stuff. So on the tracking, it said that it had left China. And I'm like, cool. So me and my wife are out, we're going to a play, it's raining, we're trying to see the road, and I get an email that says my transaction's been canceled because it hasn't been paid for. This was one I put in my cart before, like a long time ago when I was thinking about buying it. And it basically just took it out of my cart and said, you didn't buy it, so what did I do? I ordered another one. Yeah. So this thing shows up, and I'm like, oh, this must have been the other one I ordered. Then I looked at my phone, and the other one said it just left China. And I went, eh. So I have two now. One's coming. And I've already had some people interested in buying that one off me, because basically being able to buy it in America costs you $150, $170. Usually you have to wait. With this way, they'd be able to just buy it, and I'd mail it to them. But, yeah. Ask my wife how happy she was about that. She wasn't. But she is going to be happy about this, because my wife's the type that she wants to have fun. She wants to sit up and do things in the tent. And she can do that in our scout tent, but not this one. And I think this is the perfect balance of weight and comfort for us, for our situation. Because this year we're trying to both be sub 10 pounds for our 3-season setup. Now, I'm going to tell you that I've been looking at some frameless packs, because the Modace is nice, but you get above about 16 pounds trail weight in there, and it starts to pull on them shoulders and hurt your back a little bit. It's not bad, but, it gives me a reason to get a new pack. So 3FUL has 3 packs out there, and we're probably going to go with the X-Pack. Well, it's a hybrid X-Pack. It's not what you'd go buy at these cottage vendors in the States. It's their own version. But I'm going to probably grab one of those up and give that a go for the season. We also are looking at a camera bag made of the same X-Pack material for the new GoPro, and the gimbal and the phone and all the other equipment. So you're going to see some more 3FUL gear coming out and being a part of things. I'm actually hearing that there's supposed to be some down booties coming out. So I'm not sure on that. We'll see if it really happens. It's all hearsay as of now. But the Lanshan 2 is a wonderful investment, in my opinion. I'm going to do another video after we put, say 10 trips or 10 nights, let's say, on it. This thing's coming with us to the Foothills Trail this year, for sure. It's coming to Dolly Sods, for sure. And it's coming to, what is it, Manistee? Is it Manistee we're going to? I don't remember. We got so many trips this year I can't even keep count. But you're going to see a lot of this tent, so get used to it. It's going to be in all the videos because this is what we're running now. And if I rip it in half tomorrow because it got jacked up in a giant windstorm at Dolly Sods and blew 20 feet in the air and got in a tree, I'm not going to cry about it. It's a $100 bill. If it was a $500 tent, I'd probably be sobbing like a baby on the ground. It's just the reality of things. And I think that if this is something you're interested in, that I think you should absolutely go for it. Absolutely, I think you should go buy it. And I didn't go get the prepaid credit card to buy it. Some people are paranoid about that. I didn't, and I didn't have any problems. So do whatever you feel's best, whatever you feel most confident in doing. If you want to pay for it with your credit card, or if you want to go get a prepaid credit card from like Walmart and do it that way, whatever makes you feel most comfortable. I actually did it through the AliExpress thing. It's kind of like PayPal, where they guarantee it'll come or you get your money back. It doesn't cost anything, so. But I hope you liked the video. I hope you enjoyed the little walk through the tent. And I kind of feel like I do my review better because I just took things out of the bag. I didn't try. You saw me stumble around trying to figure out how to put it up. I mean, I had a general idea, but I really had no clue. I had to figure it out. And that's what I showed you. That's why I time-lapsed it, because I was there forever walking around in circles going, got to tighten this, got to tighten that. And I plan on changing a lot of that to make it, you know, more of a stick-and-go kind of situation. But I just want to bring it to you guys just like it comes to me. You know, I want to have you guys see what it'll be like for you when you're walking around this thing going, what the heck? So, I hope you enjoyed the video. Sorry about the sound. I'm sick. My wife's out hiking. I'm not even supposed to be outside, so shh, don't tell on me. So until next time, guys, I'm Tony. Please like, share, and subscribe. Tell your friends, tell your buddies, whatever. And I hope you'll come along with us with a lot of our future trips.